Hi, I'm planning to make a new tassel belt, and for this belt I am doing some tassels like this one. The one or the belts I've seen in the interwebs are actually tassels from paranda. Nobody seems to know what is the correct form. And I really like them. They are long and a bit of slinky, and they are not so compact as the woolen one, but they hang beautifully, and I would not be me if I wouldn't try to do it myself. So I take for this kind of yarn. It's an embroidery yarn. It's synthetics and it does not stick to itself. And this is a cotton yarn, very stable. And this is copper wire, very fine gauge, and some scissors and some pearls. Yes, it all depends on your creativity and what you're planning to make. And I use this book as I use it so they're all even long. So I take the book and wind the cotton thread around it 3 times, and then I cut it, and then I take off the yarn, and then I'm going to wind it This will be the base of my paranda tassel. Wind, 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 and put in half, and yes, it has to be strong. Yay! And now make a knot on it as deep as possible. You know, paranda is an Indian braid, or it's an hair embellishment with 2 strands out of yarn, or maybe fox hair, and with beautiful embellishments at the end, mostly tassels. And it is used to make your own braid longer. So you start to braid your own hair, and then you take this thing and you braid it together, and then your hair ends, and there are still the tails from the paranda, and you go on braiding and got this beautiful tassels at the end. Oh, I have to make one by myself. So I took a bit of this wire and folded in half to use it as a needle, and you can easily put the beads on it when you do this. So I put the first bead on it, just a bigger one, and then I make another knot to build another base for the second bead. And try to pull it down, and is the second bead, and ready is the base for our tassel. The next step will be to wind up the actual yarn. I open the book and lay it in there so it will be held for the first round, so it doesn't slip off, and you can somewhat easy begin to wind it round it. This will take some time because the yarn is so thin. Ready. And there's no you have to wind it 1000 times. It's just about how you would like to be your tassel. If it has to be very chunky and very thick, you have to wind it very lot. If you want it more slim, then you don't use as much. The yarn I use is embroidery thread. I already told it, for machine embroidery, and it's from a brand called Fufus. Here you see I take another thread and pull it through. This is very much the benefit of a book. You have a gap where you can pull a single thread easily through. Yes. And then you take the base and make a knot to get it somehow in place, and then you cut it on the downside. Yeah. And it's in German we would say tüllig. Everything is so small, and so I pull it so that both tails are of the same length, and then I make and I try to build the yarn around the base. So you see the base is lying on the bunch of yarn, but I don't want it. I want it to be the core of the yarn. So this will be. So, okay. Finally I got it. And then you make 2 or 3 knots and secure it. On the spool of yarn are about 1000 meter, and I used a spool of blue yarn for some other tassels, and I already used it for embroidery, and I got about 5 tassels from one spool, and I still got a rest on it. Maybe a 6th one would be possible. This fufus is very cheap. You got it for some euro here. Not that expensive. So I tried here to enclose the upper bead by the yarn, and to snuggle the yarn around it. This isn't that easy. The yarn wants to be everywhere, but not there where I want it to be. Hold it, grab it. I think it doesn't want because it's in front of the camera. When I do it without camera, it's much easier. It's even much easier because I don't have to watch if the camera can see what I can do. So I try to get it. And then I take a piece of the wire and again down. Go wire. Can't be. And finally, yes. I wind the wire around it, and I try to do this very tight to bring out the form of the bead, and I also try to put it so that it would be a plain. I don't know how to say it. Very tight. And I think there could be a bit more of the wire, so I take it. I cut it with scissors because it's so thin you don't need an extra wire cutter. Ow, in the camera. Do it in the camera. I think it's like a running gag. Every time I do videos, there are moments I just am out of camera. So, got it attached and wind it. Wind. And always brush. But it really feels great. You want to touch it. You want to touch it the whole time, and to get a comb it or brush it, and in case you wonder what the silver thing is, you see right beneath my arm here on the edge of the table. It's part of raft making thing accessories. I do a lot of stuff. Okay, the middle is ready. And now take another piece of wire and set it below the thicker bead. You have to look that this the bead is full covered. There might be plain spots or something because of that I took beads which are nearly the same color or in the same color range than the yarn I take, and I think with the base it's much more easier than when you just wind the yarn and take yarn at the top, and then you make a knot and fold it in half, and then just wind under it. You will not become a round head of the tassel, or if you become it, it will be not so easy to have it close. You always will have gaps there where the thread is. I hope you understand what I think or what I try to say. So I parted in 3 strands. I think in this part it would actually be good to have a comb there, and yes, because you have to have the whole yarn lying fine exactly without any knots or something. You want it flawless. Brush. So, yes, it got some nice accessories. It's just to hold it. So they don't come together. And then I cut 3 pieces of wire of the same length. It's all about you, how much you want. I make it just as it comes. I don't know. I don't know when I cut 5 centimeter of the wire, then I can coil um, 1 centimeter on the yarn. I don't know. I just cut a piece and then I cut 2 more, so they will be the same on each braid. I try to lay the scissors on it to give a little bit of weight, so I can pull on it and hopefully the scissors would hold the whole thing for me. That was not so easy. It just isn't that easy. When I do it without camera, I think it's a cool way to bind a bandana around your leg, right above the knee, and to sit in a chair and lay back, and then you take a safety pin and attach the whole thing to this bandana, and then you have the force. Then you can pull as much as you want and it stays. So it's not so easy, and I take part of the tripod to end a hole of the scissors, so it will stay in place. This was the best way for me, and still make it fine. Take every single yarn and just wind it. I wind it to the right side. You have to, when you coil it, you have to twist both strands to the right side, and then you can twist them together to the left. And then you take one of the 3 pieces of wire and you wind it around it, just like a headband, a rubber band or something, to secure this braid. Already, oh my god. Oh, Long Johnson. You know, my English isn't that good. I think you already noticed it. I'm not a native speaker, but I thought about it, and I thought what would be the best way to make videos and to comment videos. Should I use my native speech, native language? Native language. And I will have a part of the YouTube community who can understand me, or should I speak in English, which is really worse. But everybody is able to understand me, nearly everybody. Okay, there are some people who don't know English, but most of we can. And I am from Germany, and normally you learn English in school. So I thought it would be the best way to make my comments in English when it's about tutorials like this one, and use my native language when it's not so important view. Maybe when I do a haul or something. I think that would be much better. Here I call the second one. Keep it straight, then begin to twist it. Twist both strands to the right, and then twist them around each other to the left. And secure it with another piece of wire. Oh, you have to see and cannot hear anything because I don't know what to say. What can I tell you? I don't know. I wonder if you can see the scratches on my hand and the color on my hand. I argued a little bit with my cat. Or he with me. But we are friends. We are good friends. Don't want to miss him. And yay! We got the second braid. Just one and then we got it. Oh, and the color? There must be a teal spot somewhere. I dyed a 25-yard skirt today, and I'm going to make a video about it, but it's not about the dyeing itself, but it will be embellished too, and yeah. Twist it to the right with both strands, and then twist around to the left. You can do it with your hair. when I was a child, I got a Barbie doll which has both strands in the same direction, and then you press the button and the direction changed, and then you winded them around themselves. This was pretty cool. You don't have to glue the wire or to make a knot or something to secure it. It just holds by itself. Take your fingernail and press it tight, or press it round so you got and feel if isn't anything tangly or something. So this will be okay. And there are some parts of the base sticking out. I didn't like that. Sometimes you don't see them, so doesn't matter. But now they are not looking nice. And just take the scissors and cut it. Bring it back in form, and there's another piece. Cut it also. Snippy. And another one. All three. And then there are some pieces of yarn. They're coming out, and I cut them. I don't want it to be straight. It's okay like it is, but it's okay the way it looks. But they're too long. You know what I mean. I'm sure you know what I mean. So, ready! And you see the second one is the one we made, and